Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Stephen.
Hi, good morning, Suraya, and good morning, everyone. Welcome. Today, our topic is on mastering your money, practical personal finance tips, and really good to see everyone. Some of you may be familiar, we may have met before in a couple of sessions. I'm glad to be on the other side today, and we're going to have an awesome chat with Suraya, maybe hear a few stories and see how it's practical. Good morning to each and every one of you. A very warm welcome. Now, just before we get started, let's just go through a few quick housekeeping tips on our site. So do make sure you're using a up-to-date browser, your internet connection is stable so you don't miss out on any of the sharing as well. Test your speakers, make sure you can hear us loud and clear. If you're having any technical difficulties, go ahead and refresh your browser. You should automatically rejoin the webinar again. You will notice that you have a chat message as well. I see the stream of good morning messages coming in. A very good morning again to everyone. If you do need any help, you can send a private message. Just tag at Naluri Events, and our person in charge from Naluri will be coming over to assist you as well. All right. Feel free to ask any questions. We have a few polls and thoughts throughout the screen as well. We may pick up a few of the questions in between. Otherwise, we will be having a Q&A session at the end. So I thought let's have a bit more time for Q&A. So do keep the questions coming in. We target to have about 15 minutes. If you have anything specific, feel free to tag us. But no worries, we'll get through all the messages as well. At the end of the session, handouts will be made available, and you will get access to them itself. So without further ado, that's enough for housekeeping. Let's jump right into it for today's session itself. All right. So I'm Steven. I'm a financial coach with Naluri. I'm also a licensed financial planner as well. I also run a personal finance site, mypf.my. And our welcome guest and speaker for today is none other than Suraya. Let's have a hand of applause for her. All right. So Suraya is the founder of Ringgit, which, wow, has been around since 2015. You can find her. She's active on Twitter, on Instagram. She has written a few bestseller books. I have them on my shelf here. They're great reads as well. She also created her own course, Buy on Turn, Insurance Takafu course as well. And she actually did complete her CFP modules as well. So she definitely knows what she's talking about as well. All right. So let's just jump right uh, into it itself. Now, don't worry too much on what you see on your screen because we're actually going to have a poll actually coming right up here. And just think about, what is your primary goal for actually improving your finances? You should be seeing the poll coming up on your screen right now. Go ahead and click on a response. Yeah. What is your primary goal for improving your personal finances? Is it A, reducing debt? Is it B, increasing your savings? Is it C, to better understand your spending? Or is it D, to achieve financial security? Yeah. All right. So go ahead and put in those polls itself. And, Soraya, just to chat a little bit, as we see the answers kind of streaming in, are you surprised with the responses that we're getting? Or is that quite aligned with what you're expecting as well?
It's aligned with what I'm expecting. I believe people here, they see all the options and they pick the best one for themselves. And
The best one.
we're gonna address your goals, your concerns. But I also want to touch a bit about our topic today, which is practical personal finance tip. Very often when people, talk about personal finance, money management, it depends on people. Definitely, I get very excited about it. I believe me and Stephen get very excited about it. For many people, they do find it a bit overwhelming. So, what we really want to focus on today is giving you practical answers to your worries or to your concerns or to the other areas when if you're already managing your personal finance right now, which areas in your life that you think, how can I improve this part? How do I improve that part? We want to really dive deep into that. Or even if you're someone who like, I don't know where to start, we have answers for those as well.
Right, all right, totally awesome. And it appears that the answers are still streaming in with over
Mm.
200 plus responses as well. What's the primary goal? And in number one place is achieving financial security, followed by in second place, increasing savings. In third and fourth place, which are quite close to one another, in reducing debt and better understanding one's spending. So right, why is it really important, that we started off with this poll? Why do financial goals actually matter? Why do priorities matter in the realm of personal finance? finances?
Financial goals matter because, as they say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Is that how it goes? Right? If you kind of going with this, like go with the flow, you don't really have like okay, I'm gonna improve this part of my personal finance life, then you're just hoping for things to turn out for the better. Then that's kind of, if luck is on your side, it might work out, but oftentimes you need like a concerted effort. Right, there are so many things that are against you. We all know, we all live in this region, we all know about the cost of living. We all know about the realities of making money and even like spending money in this region. So it needs a bit of an effort in order to do things more effectively, right? There's Unless you come from a very privileged background where things are maybe a little bit easy for you, or when I say privilege, it also means that maybe you're born into a family who have instilled in you like good money habits. Yeah, maybe you have parents who have helped you save, help pay for certain things in your life, or help you instill savings habit. Then you might be, someone who are learning this maybe on the first time as you reach adulthood, as you first start earning money on your own. So having a goal is like a very concerted effort of like, okay, this is what I'm going to focus on. And you can see on the screen, we have some steps there. Shall we go into the steps?
Yeah.
Why
So
are
as
these
as
steps?
we just go into the goals as well, I just want to jump
Yeah.
in a little bit as you mentioned on that privilege there, Soraya. And I was
Hmm.
just recalling actually just very recently, actually earlier this year, met this young fresh graduate, actually was in the oil and gas industry, and she said her biggest motivator and hero was her dad, actually. And not for the normal reasons, but because her dad really sat down with her, talked with her about finances, have been guiding her, and really that's such a privilege. But also recognizing, of course, that all of us come from different backgrounds, different
Hmm.
cultures, etc. But definitely, I think how then can we break it down into simple steps, actually? And I'm all about simplicity. And
Hmm.
I know you're excited to go to share about the 7 goals and the 7 steps that we see in front of us. So yeah, take it away, Soraya.
Okay. I also want to touch a little bit about that. I've been someone who I've been in love with personal finance since in my teens. I like money. Who doesn't, right? If you're here, who doesn't like money? But I always thought like, wow, growing up, I kind of, how do you say it? I thought I was so good. Like, wow, Suraya, you're so good at saving money. You're so good at learning about personal finance. You're so good, this and that. And then as I grew up, I realized that, yeah, I'm patting myself in the back. And then as I grew up, I realized that that is one form of privilege as well. That awareness, I guess, but also, I having parents who were ready to spot to help me out with my education, who are ready to give me the extra room so I don't have to pay rent. So that's all part of, I guess, personal finance and privilege as well. But going back into the steps, I believe everyone can see the screen. We have actually put it down into steps. Yes, somebody in the comments put that. Love that you're adopting Ramsey. What's his name? Dave Ramsey. He is a US based, what do you call it? Financial guru. He's been around for decades, right?
Financial guru, podcaster, host, yeah.
Yes, he is not without criticism. Okay, let's just put it that way. But these steps are great for everyone. You will learn in time that all financial gurus have their criticism, and that's fine. So you just take the good, just take the good, and then you disregard the rest. Okay, the steps that I have in here, just basically breaks down what do you need to focus on right now. One of the hardest part about starting with someone's money management is being the feeling of being overwhelmed, right? Money advice is actually, if you want to really want to break it down, it's actually very simple. Make more than you spend less than you earn, and then you invest the difference long term. That's it. Those three sentences, that's it. But why is it hard for most people is that they get very overwhelmed. What do I do first? So when you see the steps, you follow the steps. Have I completed step one, which over here means have $1,000 or ringgit or whatever currency that is equivalent in your country, in savings, and then focus on that if you haven't completed that. And then you go on to step two, which is pay off your debt. especially your high interest debt, your credit card, your personal loan. And then if you have completed that, only you go on to step 3. Oftentimes, when people want to get started with your money management, when they want to take it seriously, what they do is, oh, I don't have $1,000 in savings yet, but they straight away go to step 4, which is invest. Very often, right? Very, very, very often. And maybe
That's where
even
the
like,
excitement is, right?
yeah,
I want to make money as quick as
yeah.
possible.
I know. How do I start investing? How do I invest in order to have savings? Doesn't work that way. Or they might even like, how do I have financial freedom when they are at the stage of step 2, when they're still paying off the high interest debt, right? So when you were answering your post just now, the people who answered reduce debt, you know immediately already you're either at step 1 or step 2, right? People who answered increase savings, maybe you are at step 3, but be sure first that you have actually completed step 1 and step 2 first. The people who said to better understand my spending, you can be whichever, but I'm guessing either step 1, step 2, or step 3. The people who answer they want to achieve financial security, you can be at whichever step. Actually, this is more of a mindset answer. Um, you try to identify which step you are now, so you can focus on that. And the questions to ask yourself are on the right side of the slide. You can see what are the things that you should ask yourself in order to complete these steps. So the rest, for example, if let's say you are at step 2 or step 1, right? You don't have savings, like that emergency savings yet. So what are the ways you can save or earn money? That's the one that you need to focus on. Forget about investing for now. Forget about forget about other things. Forget about insurance. Forget about estate planning. Forget about everything else. How can you save and earn money so you have that minimum basis of $1,000 or ringgit or the equivalent in your country in savings? Stephen, you want to add anything here?
Yeah. I think we have some great questions actually that are coming up, and I thought it was a good time for us to actually cover some of this as well. All right. So Peter asked, if you have long-term debt like mortgage, property loan, do we pay it off before you actually move on to step 3? Because step 2 is paying off debts, right?
Yes. Sorry, is there a question for me?
Yeah. So when if you have long-term debts
Oh.
such as the mortgage, do you pay it off before moving on to step 3 actually?
Generally speaking, you step 2 refers to high interest debt. So credit card, personal loans. I don't know if this happens in your country, but money lenders, especially unlicensed money lenders, those are very scary. Um, that's to your friends and family. I would put them in this list as well, unless if they're okay with you taking your own sweet time to pay them off. I think you don't want to be in a position to jeopardize your relationship while you're in your personal finance journey. But so-called good debt like mortgage, and perhaps car installments, you can just follow the schedule. It's completely fine. Or like
Or even the
early
education
personal
loan,
loan.
I think as well.
Yes, just follow the schedule. It's fine.
All right, great for that. And I would actually define as well high interest debt that Suraya mentioned. Anything that you're paying 12% more as well, and also to know as well that whatever's the stated rate, you'd actually need to find out what's the actual effective interest rate that you're paying, which might be higher actually than what you're actually seeing as well. Yeah. We had a question as well from Dara wondering why isn't emergency funds right at the beginning itself in the first step?
From Dara, let me just scroll down. Emergency debt. Okay. The step 1 is your bare minimum to live money, right? This is money in case, money for food, money for rent, money for to in order if let's say you have a car and your tires stop working, and you need to get it fixed. These are like super emergency money. That's the bare minimum. So you get to live up until your next payday. So I put that as 1,000. You can actually tweak that to whatever amount is the amount needed for you to survive up until your next payday, I wouldn't advise you to make it too big of an amount, because if not, you'll never complete step one. But whatever is the equivalent to 1 month, if that's 1,000, that's 1,000. If it's 200 for you, that's 200. But I would put like a nice round figure, small enough yet big enough, but not overwhelming for you to complete before you go on to step two.
All right, awesome. And I know we have a lot of other queries as well. We'll be covering up in the Q&A, so keep those questions coming as well. So, but just before we head to the next segment as well, do think about which step are you at now. Write it down. In a piece of paper, in a book,
Mm,
on your phone. What step are you
yes.
now, and what step do you want to hit to kind of give direction as well to your goals as well.
Somebody asked, just very, very quickly, Nurin asked, how much 3 to 6 months emergency savings is enough? When we say 3 to 6 months of emergency savings, that means 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses, right? Let's say in a month you spend, I don't know, $2,000. So 3 to 6 months would be, how much is that?
6 to 12K, yeah.
Yes, 6 to 12K. Thank you so much, Stephen. Adjust that. It's specifically 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, not income, because for some people, their expenses exceed their income, right? So you should probably know how much more or less you need in order to survive each month.
All
Okay.
right. And those are general guidelines. You do need to tweak a
Yes.
little bit based on your
Yes.
personal situation.
Yes. All of these are
That's
guidelines.
all right. So definitely important as you hit the next area, which is a key part of today, is talking all about budgeting. How do you simplify budgeting with that 50-30-20 rule? So Suraya, maybe can you just start us off by just simplifying what is this 50-30-20 that we are seeing here?
Okay. I see a lot of questions coming in, but we do want to proceed with the budgeting rule. We will see that some of your questions will be answered as we go through our conversation. If it doesn't, the very nice people at Naluri will be flagging some of your questions at the end during the Q&A section. You can also, I think, add Naluri, I believe, and they will be able to take your questions and we'll try and answer them to the best of our ability. But if, let's say, for example, we're not able to answer them during this session, both of us, me and Stephen, are available. You can email us or contact us and we'll try our best. Both of us have a lot of resources that you can refer to. But we'll go ahead with the budgeting rule. But everyone here anyone here heard about the 50-30-20 budgeting rule? If you have, if you want to put it inside the chat for me. Some says yes, very excitedly. Thank you, Laila. It's a recommended start for people who just want to start budgeting. And the reason why it's recommended, because number one, is easy to visualize, right? As a percentage, how 50-30-20 looks like. And how it works is, if you can use 50% of your income, monthly income of your take-home pay, for your needs and keep it within 50%. That means your groceries, your housing, your utilities, your health insurance, and your car payments, or transportation, right? If it's within that 50% of your take-home pay, generally speaking, you'll be all right in terms of your budgeting. Okay, and then everything else you can put into your wants, you can put into your savings. There's a real practicality to using this budgeting rule or budgeting guideline to start with, because this will help you decide what big expenses you can fit into your life or cannot. And I'll give you some examples. I'll move on to the next page. Oh, Stephen, I think you need to move to next. Okay, yeah, I got it.
Sure.
Okay, for
Maybe before actually, Suraya, before we go
yeah.
into that as
Okay.
well, just wanted to ask you a couple of questions as well, and some from the chat as well. When we talk about 50-30-20, what portion of the income is talking about? Is it our gross pay? Is it our disposable income? Is it our net income? How does that work?
Yes, it is your take-home pay. So you would have your gross salary or your gross income for the month. Let's say your gross income is $3,000, right? But depending on your country, you will have some certain deductions. right? You might have deductions for retirement fund. You might have deductions for loans or for some loans that you're taking, or some other things. So your net income, your take home pay, the amount that gets into your bank account is the amount that you're budgeting around. That's the general idea behind the 50-30-20 budgeting rule.
All right. Thanks for clarifying that,
Yes,
actually, Suraya. All right.
we
Everyone should have the pop up to the template. Yeah. Over to you, Suraya.
yes, we have the pop-up for the template. If yes, I believe the audience, for those who are not able to access the template, is on the screen on the left-hand side, lower left-hand side. Click on it, and it will bring you to an Excel. I will share my screen and just show you how it works on it. There you go. Okay. I see many of you are already here. For those who are not able to access, maybe we can have somebody from Naluri to just put the link also in the chat, if that's okay. But I see, generally speaking, everyone is able to have, at least half the audience have been able to.
Go in and tag at Naluri events if you need any help accessing the template as well.
Yes. Thank you so much. For those who are already in the template, okay, this is a free template that any of you can use. The only rule here is that if you want to use this template, just go on and make a copy in your own G Drive. So you just click on File, and then make a copy, and then you make it your own, so that you don't it becomes your own. It's your numbers. It's your own personal, you don't share your numbers with anyone else, right?
Yeah, save a private copy for yourself. And a big thank you to Suraya, of course, for sharing this free resource with all of us here.
Yeah. After you have made your own copy, right, you can start straight away to put your numbers in the orange block. The orange is the editable block, and you could put in your salary or your income. After deducting any automatic deductions from your salary slip. So for example, in certain countries, we have again for deductions, for auto deductions for retirement fund. So let's say the number that comes into your bank account is 5,000, let's say it's 4,500, let's say, right? And this template will automatically compute for you what would be 50%, the amount for 50% for needs, the amount 30% for wants, and what is 20% for savings or investment. It will just give you the number. And then it will also further down show you, if you put in your own expenses inside this template, it will show you whether you have been adhering to this 50-30-20 guideline or not. So for example, let's say you are living at home, for example. So you put there 0 rent, 0 mortgage, but you do contribute for bills. So you put in the numbers over here. You pay this amount for internet and telco. You pay this amount for groceries. Let's say you take public transportation to work. So you can just put, you put 0 here, and then you put, let's say you put, you pay 150 for insurance. Put whatever amount that you have in your own template, and this would be the surplus or deficit that you are that's under the 50-30-20 budget template. And then you put in your numbers for wants as well. So it could be this number over here. So in your budgeting, let's say, right? Okay, so in this example, you're someone who is living at home and you are considering to rent out a place somewhere or even buy a property. Okay, so when you are imagining this new expense, you need to see whether or not you can fit it into your budget. So you can put in, for example, the rent for the new place or the mortgage for the new place is, for example, 1,800. And at the new place, you have to pay a little bit more for electricity. I'm just putting the numbers here. And you can see here that the surplus or deficit is you're already like at negative 460. So you know that the new place does not fit into your 50, 30, 20 budget. That's how you use this template into your everyday financial decisions. So you might want to consider maybe not buying a place yet, but renting, for example, renting a room if you really want to move out. Let's say the new place only costs you the new room maybe costs you 500 per month. And this would make more financial sense for you because you still have a surplus of $840 per month to play around with. And we're just touching on this needs part because this is the most important thing. When it comes to budgeting, the many people, they give like a lot of money saving tips. I'm going to stop sharing now and go back to our spot over here. There you go. Okay. I'm going back to here and I'm going to look at the chat in case there's anything. All right. When you're
I do have one
doing,
question as well. Yeah, Soraya, it's coming in as well. And you
yeah,
mentioned, which is great. Like, let's say you're going to be renting a place or planning to buy a place and put it under the accommodation. How about for any other like big goals? Things that you want to set aside. Actually, where would that go?
yes. In the same template, okay, I'm going to keep on, I'm going to share the same template again, yeah. All right. You should be able to see my screen again. As you go, when you make your financial decisions, try to, usually for a person, the top three biggest expense would be accommodation, transportation, and food. Okay. And generally speaking, provided that you don't have a shopping addiction or provided that you don't have like excessive commitments, right, to your family, to your house or otherwise, um, generally speaking, if you keep these three expenses, accommodation, transportation, and food under control, generally speaking, your budgeting should be okay, right? And if you follow the template and if you put in the numbers and your shopping and everything else, let's say you don't eat out, okay, you just maybe spend $50 on eating out per month, and you don't have boyfriend, girlfriend yet, boo. So you have a bit of a surplus there. So if you maintain this sort of lifestyle right now, you will be able to save $1,900 from your salary, from your income per month. And if you go further down, Stephen, your question is about how can we use
Uh,
this number in order to hit your financial goals, right? Remember just now when we were sharing the steps? I have incorporated that into the template so you can see your financial goal.
awesome.
Yes. Let me just, yeah, it doesn't have to be ringgit, it can be dollars. Yep, there you go. Okay, so I put this amount, say for basic emergency. If you manage to save $1,900 per month, it will take you just half a month to complete step one. You see how that goes? So, for example, if you have already completed step one and you want to pay off your step two, you want to do complete step two, which is your credit card, your high interest debt, and let's say the amount, let's say you have $3,000 in credit card debt. It will just take you 1.5 months to complete step two, if you maintain this kind of lifestyle. See, so what I've done here in this template is I've given you a timeline. So instead of, oh, I wonder if I just do this and this and this, eventually I'll be able to hit this goal. No, I'm giving you exactly how long it will take. So you will see you can, like, if you maintain this lifestyle, it will take you 2 months to complete step one and step two. And if you want to complete step three, which is to save 3 months worth of expenses, this amount is already auto-calculated. This 7,800 amount is auto-calculated. It will take you 4 months to complete this step. So you can see that it will, how long your goals can be reached if you maintain, if you increase your income. Let's say if you increase your income to $6,000, it will be faster for you to hit your financial goal. But if you are spending more, let's say your mortgage is already 2,500, then it will take you a little bit longer for you to reach your financial goal. And everything here is adjustable. You can perhaps, like, as a suggestion, spend just a few months, just sort of like, okay, do like a no spend month or no spend quarter, and you don't spend anything temporarily until you can complete your step one and step two for example. And you can see that if you will just do this temporary, keyword temporary,
You're kind of
uh,
like supercharging it,
budgeting.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
For
yeah,
a few
yeah.
months, for a little
Just
while. Yeah.
speed it up. Just speed it up. Then you can just like complete it fast, and then you can start introducing it again. And then you can start, like, okay, now I'm at step three. Then I can like start introducing a bit more for my hobbies. You can restart things again, and that I think is important for many people to realize about personal finance. That is, your financial decisions. Nothing is ever what do you call it? Nothing is ever permanent. It's
100%
always,
set in stone, right? Yeah. It's always
yeah,
fluid.
yeah, yeah. So sometimes people they go like, oh, I don't want to. I don't want to. What's the point of living if I don't enjoy myself? And there's a grain of truth to that, but it's just temporary. You can hit your goals, and then you have the rest of your life to enjoy the good decisions that you have made, and you don't have financial anxiety anymore. So
All right, I'll definitely agree with that actually to find that balance right for future you and today you to also have that right balance as well. If like me, you like having a cup of coffee or two a day, go ahead and drink a cup of coffee. It's not going to make any difference actually towards your financial independence really. So how do you actually balance that? I also echo what Alia mentioned in the comments as well that I really like the visual aspects of it that I can just see how long it actually takes, and that's really really very helpful as well. And we'll be asking a little bit about your own experiences with budgeting and all that, but just to kind of throw that out there, maybe being a devil's advocate as well, the 50-30-20 rule, does it work all the time? Are there times where it doesn't work? Does that need to be adjusted? Are there resounding success stories using it? Are there stories where it doesn't work out?
there's a couple of questions that I kind of want to take right now. Some questions ask about tweaking. Yes, after you save the version inside your own Google Drive, you can do whatever you want with it. You can turn it into, this one is a personal one, but you can turn it into a family one. So instead of your salary or income, you can make it household income. That's also possible. You can add new categories. For example, if you have pets, you can put that into your needs or wants, depending on how you want to categorize your pet. If you have commitments related to family, contributions that you give to your family, you can put that in as well. If you have health related expenses, which some people do, you can put it under needs. Absolutely. You can tweak it to however you want. There are categories there just for, you don't have to fill in every single category. If it doesn't relate to you, if you don't have, if you're not a gadget person, you just don't have to put it in. Just do whatever you want with it. You can tweak it.
All right, awesome. And like Laila says, can do a 70-20-10. And if I can just throw one tip as well, if you're actually not contributing to EPF, that means you're a freelancer, contractor, business owner, etc. You might want to increase the 20 a little bit higher actually, because if you're serious about achieving financial independence, you probably need to do 40%. So EPF, if you're an employer contributing EPF takes care of 20%, so you can do 50-30-20. If you're on your own, you probably want to bump that up to 30 or 40 actually. So just putting that out as well. Yeah.
Okay, so now you have the template, take it on your own. We're going to move on to the topic of expense tracking. So just now in the template, the assumption is that you know more or less how much you spend on certain categories per month. But and I know that for many categories, the amount changes. It's not super clear cut. Right? I mean, the things like rent, things like mortgage, we know how much we pay for those. But things like electric bill, things like um, grocery.
Food, groceries is all
Yeah,
going up,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. They change. So some months we have certain festivities. So it's a good idea for you if you haven't started to do some sort of expense tracking. And I believe many people do, and many people have started, but they fall off the wagon, so to speak. So we're gonna share some tips between me and Stephen. We're gonna share some tips. Personally, I have been with expense tracking for like 10, 15 years, and I have data going all the way. I know how much I spent in my 20s.
Mm.
But
And even the numbers that we're
yeah.
seeing on screen right now, these are your actual numbers, right? That we're actually seeing over here.
Yes, Yes, these are screenshots from my own expense tracking app. I use an app. You can use a notebook. Yeah, you can use Excel. Some people are Excel people and really go crazy on the formulas. Go for it. You do you. But I'm an app person, and I find it super easy to use this system. So we're gonna cover expense tracking over here. Um, the the app that I'm referring to, this particular app, it's called Money Lover. I think it's a bit expensive now. I got it a long time ago when it was just like 10 dollars, but I believe it costs a bit more now. There are other apps, right? You don't have to use this one. I'm using this one because I already bought it, but you can use others. And you can see that these are the categories that I have used in order to allocate the different expenses in my life. Um, Utilities and mortgage, self-explanatory. Dates and travel, self-explanatory. Social is the amount that I pay for social activities like going out with friends or family. Donations and gifts, self-explanatory. Groceries, self-explanatory. Insurance and medical as well. Business is because I have my own. I'm self-employed, so every expense related to business, I park it under there. This also helps with tax, income tax payment. So I can just refer to, okay, what do I pay for business and what I can claim and what I can't. And then the rest kind of is self-explanatory. But there are two categories there that that I want to point out. One is called miscellaneous needs, and one is called miscellaneous wants. For many people, the reason why they fall off the wagon from doing expense tracking is because they have way too many categories, right? So it's overwhelming for them.
So
Um,
much to track, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
much to
yeah,
track
yeah.
figure
No,
out.
no. Some people they track clothes, they track what else? Even like I've seen people. I check pets here. I think it's not inside here, but I have pets in here. But the difference between miscellaneous needs and miscellaneous wants is that miscellaneous needs are things that I have to pay. If not, I'll get into trouble. So I would put things like if I get if I get summons, if I park wrongly and I get summons, I don't want to go to jail. So I'll have to put it inside there. But I don't get summons every month, you see. So these are just things that I need to replace. For example, I need a pair of shoes or a jacket in order for certain events to look professional. So it is needed for my own professional life. So I will put it underneath. I don't have a clothing section. I just put it underneath. And miscellaneous wants are just things that, when I'm weak, we all are sometimes. When I'm weak and I just want to buy things for the sake of it, I don't technically need it. I just want it, so I just put it under that. So it's easy for me to see when I look at the big picture. Oh, what months were that I had a lot of, that I were enjoying myself a little bit too much, and then I can adjust the next month accordingly. I highly
So it
recommend.
kind of leads to a question as well. So
Yeah.
what if you find that you're regularly or constantly overspending in certain categories?
Mm.
What's the actionable steps you can take?
Yeah, I think everyone have like their own what do you call it? Um uh there's a word for it, like their own weak spot, I guess.
Okay.
For you, this could be gadgets, this could be tech stuff. We all like experimenting in different things. It could be clothing, it could be makeup, it could be um, uh, my husband. He has a weak spot for guitars and watches. Um, so it can be anything that again, it's not technically necessary, but you want it just because you want it. And it's not a bad thing to want stuff. It's only bad if it doesn't fit into your 50-30-30 budget, right? Life is not about like just not buying anything. That's not good personal finance. Life is not just like save everything. That's not, you're not as.
All work, no play makes Jack a dull
Yeah,
boy, right? That's the
yeah,
old saying. Yeah.
yeah. As the saying goes, like you're not born on this earth just to pay bills and die. Enjoy your money. It's completely fine as long as you're responsible with the allocation. Then everything else, and you have allocated your money for savings. Then whatever else, like whatever is your poison, go for it. Unless if your
I
poison is
really
liquor,
like when
poison
you
lah.
shared on that, Soraya. So I think that that kind of turns budgeting on its head, isn't it? That with a budget is not meant to kind of constrain you, but you know that hey, I've already set aside what I need for my needs, my savings, and I can go ahead and have that peace of mind and freedom to just spend the rest and not worry about it. Because hey, I'm on my track towards all my financial goals. Really, yeah.
Yeah, when I first started, I actually thought that personal finance is all about restricting yourself. And I'm an extreme saver. I don't know if anyone else here is, but
I used to be a min maxer as well, so yeah, I
yeah,
get
right.
you.
And I felt guilty spending money on things I just don't technically need. I'm the type of person who I had a credit card. I still have the credit card that would give me cash back for weekend spending. So I would try and time it just so that I can only pay petrol on the weekends. So during the weekday, if the gas is running low, I would just not use aircon and just open the window and I will be sweating. That's
Wow.
just extreme. Am I saving? I don't even know. um, so these are just penny pinching to the extreme. That's not what you wanna strive for. It's okay to spend if it enhances your life, but if you follow the budgeting, that guilt, I'm still trying to overcome it. But that guilt with spending, if personal finance is not just, again, it's not just advice. It's also how you feel mentally about your financial situation. Then it's okay to spend on whatever poison that you have. And we're not here to judge your poison.
And that kind of links, towards, do you want to touch about anything on this? Else we jump into the next section. Sorry.
Yes, this particular slide just shows you that if you do your expense tracking, and again, I prefer app because I can just quickly put all the expenses in. I know exactly how much I spend on average on different categories. On the left hand side here is for groceries. I can see that for this year, I spend a monthly about 1,000 ringgit on groceries per month. So I can actually put that inside the 50, 30, 20 budgeting guideline, 1,000, and I know that it's fairly accurate. Likewise, on this picture, on this image on the right, this refers to the amount that I pay for my kid, right? I have one child, and this year I am averaging about 500 ringgit per month in child-related costs. So I know that this amount I can quite confidently put in that child-related cost is about 500 ringgit per month. I don't have to guess. You can see that the amount changes wildly per month over here. In this particular month, it's low, and the next month is high, and that reflects the reality of many people's variable expense. So if you have an estimation, data-driven estimation, that will be the best number to plug into your budget template. Don't worry too much if you don't have the numbers yet. You can just put a little bit higher amount. For example, oh, I'm guessing I spent $1,000 on groceries, but you're not sure. You can just put a little bit extra because most people, they underestimate the amount that they spend. Same like weight, same like counting calories. We all underestimate how much we eat per day. It's actually more than we think.
It's not true. And just one tip as well, so like Soraya, I have a young child, and now two actually, just welcome a newborn as well. And child expenses are ones that can fluctuate as well, dining, shopping. So, if it's too much, you're trying to track everything, track the ones that have a high rate of variability that change from month to month. That's where, it makes the most effect actually. Yeah. Before we go into the final segment and the Q&A as well, Soraya, is there a challenge that you want to throw the attendees, on budgeting?
I had actually a question here. I mean, uh,
Hmm.
a, a challenge related to like no spend month. Is that what we're talking about?
It could be no spend month. It could be just
Yeah,
start budgeting if you have yet to. Yeah. Yeah. The floor is yours.
yeah. I mean, how I make personal finance fun. I do like to experiment a lot. Is that I would do different types of challenges every month, and you can Google some of the different types of like personal finance challenges. But there's some that I find personally for me I find fun. There's the if you haven't started, then testing out the different expense tracking apps will be a fun challenge to try out, or even designing your own Excel expense tracking. If you like Excel, you can do that. There are free Excel budgeting tracking templates online as well, which you can try to tweak. You can, some people, they really love notes, so they will make a really nice notebooks and make a sort of like a scrapbook around it. You can do those as well. But if you want to be a bit more like related to, okay, how do I reduce certain expenses, you can do like something like a eat from the, like a no spend month is quite a popular one. There are some books on, not books, there are some articles online about like no spend challenges. This is great if you are a natural spender and you want to just kind of like speed run, like you said, Steven, speed run your step 1, step 2, step 3. You'll find that you will save a lot, honestly. And you can also do challenges related to transportation, accommodation, and also food. Again, these three are many people's top 3 expenses. So you could do a cook at home challenge. That's always fun. You could do multiple types of challenges. I think that what I have shared so far, that's more than enough to start with.
All right. Totally awesome as well, Suraya. Definitely try it out, guys. Pick a challenge that and make it fun as well. Enjoy the process, as Suraya says as well. And Suraya, earlier you were just mentioning as well. It's also psychological as well, and definitely part of it is also influences, right? From people around us. You want to share about that a little bit? How does influences affect various areas, whether it's personal finance, savings? Yeah.
We talked a little bit about guilt in spending just now, Stephen. And again, I spent a lot of time feeling guilty about certain purchases, even though it's just maybe like 10 cents, 20 cents more. I feel guilty about it because I thought I could, like these are just unnecessary expenses. But yes, if money is just money, if you think about money is just a tool, there's we are the ones who are attaching like emotional qualities to it. We're the ones who are deciding like this expense is good, this expense is bad. And oftentimes if you go on social media or even your family members, right, we have allocated certain spending as good or as bad, right? But it can always be contextual. Certain things that are bad can be good, certain things that are good can be bad. But this slide just basically wants to say that in terms of savings, but generally speaking, in terms of your financial behavior, try and look inwards, I guess, with where you're getting your money mindset from, right? Where you're getting your personal finance influence from. When it comes to saving, for example, are you the type of person who would save money? And according to at least one study, this might relate to you in maybe to many of us in Southeast Asia, that our families are the ones who influence our saving behavior a lot. For example, like if you see our parents have instilled saving behavior, then we also kind of like, they are the ones who always look for deals, for example, then we also would kind of grow up and hey, we also know how to look for deals, correct or not? So even if you go on many places, and what I'm just trying to say is that if you do have guilt over, oh, I'm not saving enough, I'm not good at this, right? Stop that negative thinking. Try to remember, okay, where am I getting all these like negative emotions from? If it's your family, for example, your family doesn't teach you how to save money, for example, then just recognize that, okay, it's just a fact, like they haven't yet imparted this knowledge on you. Therefore, you might want to look for it for this kind of information elsewhere. You might want to look for it from professionals. You might want to look for it from responsible friends. You want to look for it from best from professionals lah. But you might want to look for positive influences elsewhere outside of your family circle. What I'm trying to say.
All right, and thanks for sharing those tips as well. And there are various support and resources that one can actually get as well. So you can scan this as well. There's a free financial well-being assessment which takes less than 3 minutes and is totally free as well. I understand, Suraya, you went through this financial well-being assessment as well. How do you find this?
I did. Yeah, you know something, Stephen. Like there's Naluri is actually one of the first, if not the only one that I've seen so far that linked financial well-being with overall mental health
Well-being,
being.
yeah.
Yeah. And I took the questions. They are very straightforward. Again, 3 minutes, 10 questions, very fast to answer. It will give you a snapshot of your financial well-being, and will give you an idea of like, do I have, um, am I experiencing financial anxiety or not? Okay, and it's very important for me to highlight here that um, financial anxiety doesn't, if you're someone, financial anxiety is not really related to how much money you have in the bank. You could be someone who have millions but still have financial anxiety. Interesting, you know. So yeah, try and take it, see where you're at right now, see whether you have positive or negative mindsets about money. It will give you a snapshot. And if you want to proceed with having professional help with professionals, if you need support with them, you know where to reach out to them.
Yeah, yeah. Do this is available as well. Get one-on-one support with Naluri Financial Coach. You can find me there. Various
Mm.
other qualified coaches as well. Happy to talk with you. Totally private and confidential as well. And just to help you, move forward really in your financial journey towards achieving all your financial goals as well. Yeah. Just put this on for just 3 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right, and of course, the Naluri app and the web is there as well. You have a chat function, you can talk with various coaches. As I mentioned, there's mental wellness, dietitians, etc. Financial coaches. We're happy to have a chat with you as well, and you can get access to that. So, again, the spinal cord, put in any questions that you have as well. There's a feedback link. Go ahead and fill that up as well. Before we take on the rest of the questions as well, Soraya, if there was a key takeaways actually that you want everyone to kind of take away from today's session, what would that be?
Yes, some key takeaways that I want to point out is that if you feel overwhelmed, refer back to the steps slide. You will get all this handout at the end. In fact, I think you can see it already now. Refer back to the steps. When you feel overwhelmed, go back to the steps. Where are you right now? What should you focus on? Do your action steps. These are proven guidelines in order for you to advance with your personal, with good money management, because oftentimes for people they have that fight or flight response. And if you have, if you are stuck in a like, I can't do, I'm overwhelmed, I'm, this is bad, you're not proceeding with action. Sometimes, your financial life can be not just stagnant but might go backwards as well. So that's a bit dangerous depending on the situation. Takeaway number two is that it's completely fine for you to find help with when it comes to money management. In many countries, our environment, in some circles, people are brought up not to talk about. They have very negative mindset about money. Like, these are private. These are not things that you talk about with people. And I guess that's how I became somebody who writes about personal finance in the first place. I can't find people in my life who are able to talk about personal finance. So I thought I'll just blog it out. So I wrote about how I manage my money, and I managed to get some people who shared their tips with me, which I have compiled and have shared with you today. Um, it's easy for me to say that it's completely easy. It's completely fine to talk to people about money management. But if it's hard for you, you have access to Naluri. You have access to many financial coaches. You can chat with them. That's the smallest possible step that you can take immediately if you're facing any specific roadblocks, mental roadblocks that you have. So those two takeaways.
All right, thanks for sharing that, Soraya. We have 5 minutes left, and we only have 30 plus questions. We're gonna go rapid fire style on all these questions. Let's see, try to cover as many as we can. Soraya, what is your take on forced savings?
Love it. Forced savings, obviously, there's a lot of instruments for forced savings, but love it. You just set it at one time, very painful, but later on, you'll see that you would forget about it. And then in 1 year, you say, oh, wow, I already saved like $2,000, $5,000. So live it, live it, live it.
All right, all right. What's your definition of debt? How about property loans, car loans? Are those all debt as well?
Yes, there are. Anything that you borrow and have to pay back are all categorized under that. Some there's this good debt, bad debt categorization, but honestly, even if something is traditionally categorized under good debt, for example, housing loan or car loan, bad debt is any debt that you cannot afford to pay back. So even if you have a house loan, you can only afford $1,000 per month, but the payment, the mortgage is $2,000. That's still bad debt. Okay,
It's
whatever
a
that
good
you can't
point. It can
afford.
be bad debt, right? Depending on the
Yes,
situation. So
yes,
true.
yes.
Yeah.
So this blanket, like, oh, house loan is good debt, that's not true. It depends on your financial capability to pay back or not. That's bad debt.
Sure. Well, emergency savings, if you use vehicles like insurance or amanah saham, actually, are those considered savings in your opinion?
Insurance is not savings. Um, if you're someone who do want to take insurance, if you recall, do it when you are in the process of completing step three, if I believe correctly, when you're saving up your 3 to 6 months of
Different savings.
emergency savings, correct? Because what people don't realize is that, like a lot of insurance agents, no, nothing that meant for them. They're just doing their job in order to sell insurance to you. But they say that you need to get them as soon as possible. No, you should focus on your emergency savings first, because your emergency savings is also your default insurance. You can use your emergency savings to pay for medical, to pay for house, to pay for whatever emergencies that pop up, not just medical related emergencies. But having said that, it's good for you to consider insurance once you are in the process of building up your 3 to 6 months of emergency savings. But it's
Yeah,
not
agreed.
saving.
Definitely different purposes with that.
Yes.
Yeah. How about for like amanah saham though? Would that be part
Amanah
of
Saham
emergency
is quite,
savings?
for our friends in the region, Amanah Saham is a form of unit trust/mutual fund that's available in Malaysia. Generally speaking, the fixed funds under Amanah Saham is good because they don't have sales fee. If provided that you can get the allocation, there are some terms and conditions applied. So you ask me, is Amanah Saham fixed funds good? Yes, is the fast and quick answer to that.
All right. That's so definitely more on the fixed funds, things that are not volatile, right? When you say it's
Yes.
fixed, so those are
Mm.
definitely safer places to start off at a smaller scale as well. Yeah. All right. Um, how then does one allocate income across each step? Is it always going across all the steps? How do you prioritize? How do you distribute? Following a specific allocation.
Let's turn this back to you, Stephen. How would you answer this?
All right. I think the step 1 to 7 is a great way of flowing, and it gives a general guideline. But I think roughly when you're talking about step 4 to 7, you have a little bit of leeway. You might want to prioritize some of the steps a little bit more. I don't think you have to be like rich person with more than enough money before you start giving. I think you should start giving earlier on as well. So the giving, investing, saving for your paying off your house, or children, or education, other goals. So those are all things that you can focus on depending on your priorities. Yeah.
Let's talk a bit more about the steps, because again, those are guidelines. I'm just going to quickly go to the steps part. You all have to remember that these were adjusted from Dave Ramsey's steps, right? Who is again a US based financial guru. Over there, their mortgage and their education loan can go to like 7%, 8%, 10% per annum. So, depending on where you are in the region, you might find that certain countries here can have much lower interest fee. Therefore, if you wanna just follow the schedule to pay off these amounts, and you know what, want to focus on another big life goal. For example, if you want to focus on travel, for example, if you want to focus on um, um, your dream car, whatever it is, right? Again, we don't judge whatever it is that you deem important to your life. You can go ahead and do it. Remember that if you do have a family, you might want to prioritize doing those goals first that are related for them before you prioritize yourself. But you don't have to. Everything is a guideline.
All right, all right. Being mindful of time as well. We're going to take two final questions. I believe we've covered most of the others as well. So one question as well. As basically we become adults as well. Parents also becoming older as well. How then do we talk with our parents? About finances, especially as they're headed towards retirement.
Oh God, this is hard. I want to hear how you do it, Stephen. Oh, this is
I think
very.
it's just about starting to have those conversations as well, being respectful. And often it can be helpful actually to bring in a professional as well to work together. Because like it or not, for parents to listen to children, especially Asian culture, can be a little bit challenging sometimes. But working together, making sure they're getting good advice. Talking to them, showing that you're on the same side as well. And there, are, of course, things that a child can do as well. Maybe if the parents are financially independent, then there's a lot more that one needs to do, or at the very least, set up a certain fund, maybe like a medical sinking fund or other major expenses. So things that you can also actively help out as well. Yeah. Your thanks,
That's it.
Suraya. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. For me personally, I'm someone in my family who kind of shut up talking about personal finance, so I would always bring up questions related to money management. And I do this with my spouse as well. So they, and over time, when you are comfortable, I guess it's also family dynamic. Some families don't like to talk about it, but in our family, we're fairly okay talking about personal finance, and we can just chat about where do you invest, what's good, what's this, what's that. I actually help my parents, well, my mom specifically, do her estate planning. So I paid for her. It's always good if you pay for them, makes them more likely to go through the whole process, right? I paid for her whole like estate planning process. With my dad, it's a little bit hard because I think he's still, like, I know best how to manage my money. Like, don't breach into my. So we just, I just chill. I think it's important if you are someone who do want to um, very proactive about your parents' old age or their post retirement, then you might want to bring up, hi, dad. I know this. I've been working with this one financial professional, and it's been really helpful for me. Do you want? Would you like a session as well? We can. They can talk to you about managing your retirement fund without trying to sell you anything. That might work.
All right, all right. Thanks for
Mhm.
sharing that. And for our final question, as well as you went through the 7 steps, and I believe for many of us, will be towards achieving financial freedom actually. So, how do you know when you have made it, when you have actually achieved financial freedom? Yeah, and also considering everything's going up, right? There's inflation and all that.
These are all numbers. Okay. The only way to know for sure that you have reached financial freedom is um, to do the numbers, and then you know that the amount that you need per year annually is within your nest egg, so to speak. But one thing that I do want to point out, statistically speaking, I'm a realist. Okay, I'm not. I'm optimistic, but I'm also a realist. In our society, not everyone can reach financial freedom. That's just a fact, right? But everyone can achieve financial stability.
Mm.
And having financial stability is good enough. You don't have to think about all this going, the pictures like going to the woods, like, right? The images of financial freedom. In fact, it might even be healthy for you to not be super obsessed with financial freedom, because a lot of opportunities, scammers, bad people out there who do use that term in order to scam you. They would try and sell whatever weird products or services, or just like, and that's where they're, oh, do you not want financial freedom? Join my investment scheme. right? So
Mm.
it's okay for you to just, okay, like if people offer you the chance for financial freedom, just take it with a bit of, with a pinch of salt, just a little bit. Just focus on financial stability. In fact, financial stability is good enough. You can still have a wonderful life with financial stability. You don't have financial stress can be eliminated with financial stability without going all the way, so to speak, to financial freedom. Although it is good if you can take it all the way, but the only way to know is to have the numbers, talk to a professional. They can tell you exactly, okay, this amount can cover you until the end of your life. That's financial freedom.
All right, and with that, thank you so much. We have gone way past injury time already. For those
So
interested in
fast.
learning more or connecting with Suraya, you definitely check out her website, her socials at Ringgit or Ringgit. You can connect with me as well on the Naluri app, my website as well at mypf.my. Any final words, Suraya?
Yes. If you have a Malaysia, I see some Malaysia specific questions, which it's a bit harder for us to take over here. But you can reach out to us, to me or to Stephen. I believe in the handout our contacts will be given. If not, I'm happy to pass it to Naluri and they can pass it to you post webinar. But otherwise, thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time. This 1 hour went by so fast.
So fast, right? All right, all right. Thank you each and everyone for being here, and we'll catch you soon in a future session as well. Do go ahead and click on give feedback. We love to hear what you think of today's session, and look forward to a future session, each and every one of you. All right,
Yes.
thanks everyone. See you all soon.
Thank you. If you like this session, tell us in the feedback. They might have us back again.